Could this be? Nah, that would be too much like perfect, wouldn't it? A prelude to how the season might end? Never. The basketball gods can't be that nice to us. They wouldn't have two of the most talented, most stacked starting fives in NBA history, red waiting it for the throne. The crown holders versus the title disruptors. The now versus the future. This may never happen again.
Our opportunity is now. Who knows how long this window is going to be open?
That's what makes it, the possibility of this, the anticipation of this, so special. Them in the finals. In this day and age of player movement via mega trades, expiring contracts, free agency, and salary cap issues, these Sixers and Warriors today will probably never face one another again as constructed.
The Sixers are gonna beat the Warriors. Oh, yeah.
Somebody's, that's plural, gonna be gone.
You're gonna sign all these guys? That comes with luxury tax.
Both teams won't look the same next year. So this right here could be it. An infinity war. Two of the best super teams in the NBA on a possible collision course towards each other. Towards history.
That's a dope little hype promo. Where's Scoop Jackson been at anyway? All right, the story is no Klay Thompson. You remember in Orlando when he went down hard on the knee late in the game? I'm assuming it's some sort of bruise to the knee. And then Joel Embiid hasn't played since the All-Star game. It looks like they've really mismanaged treating that knee. Nothing new with this Sixers training staff. So it was McKinney getting the start early on. It's their rookie center, Jonah Bolden, the Australian, has a reputation as a stretch big, but showing a little flavor going reverse on the other side of the rim. Durant's been shooting more threes, but he hasn't been efficient with it. I get it, and it's part of the game today, but for whatever reason, he hasn't been very efficient with it. Steph, how would he look? When is Steph Curry going to wake up and get right? That was a good early sign, hitting the three ball. This would be a different test for DeMarcus. Usually he's getting put in a bunch of pick and rolls and getting into foul trouble. That was not the case. They don't run a lot of pick and rolls because of Ben Simmons, right? But what they do is spread the floor with a bunch of newly acquired stretch bigs. Can he make them pay on the other end? On this possession, that was not the case. Look at the rookie swatting him deep in the paint. Don't see that often. And once again, we spotted them an early lead. Durant, he catches that like 9.5 times out of 10, out in transition to Tobias. And they've got a lot of versatility, a lot of long athletes, as we saw. And then with Embiid not playing, they play even faster. You see Ben Simmons trying to chase Steph around here. He gets him with the relocation corner three. And as good as Ben Simmons can be on ball, it's going to be challenging for a 6'10", 240-pound dude to fight around all those screens. And this is where I was concerned. You see him going coast to coast. You let him get a head full of steam. And I've talked about Draymond not moving well laterally, so I thought that would be a problem in that matchup. KD, you saw him not able to catch the lob. Now he gets hit with the travel, so not exactly off to a locked-in start for Mr. Durant. Steph, the hands, get out in transition, and I like this play from McKinney. Understanding where your bread is buttered, gets it to Slim in transition. And this was, watch Durant here. This is what I call fake effort. Watch him kind of jump out here. Like, that's just terrible. Terrible fundamentals, and it's kind of like, hey, look, I'm kind of trying. I was there. I tried to challenge that. No, that's just fake effort and hustle. So, again, not a great start for Durant. Head knock, Curry, all the time in the world as Simmons gets pinned on the boogie screen. There was all these cross matchups, and it was kind of like this thing of, can my style be more effective than your style? Simmons's big guard style versus Steph's three-point style, and then Boogie in the paint against their stretch shooters. And it would play out back and forth throughout the game. And you see Draymond just willing his way into this game. You could see he's not moving right, but he was still making plays. I was very impressed with Draymond's effort throughout this night. Steph swings the ball, and then take a look at this three from Durant. I talked about his lack of efficiency. There's just more bigger guys that are comfortable challenging threes on the perimeter, I think, so he's not getting clean looks. Jerebko played 3 minutes, y'all. And now Looney, all of a sudden, it's news that he has a pelvic injury. Need I have to remind you that he had hip surgery, right? So headed down the final 20-game stretch here, the depth in the front court is a question mark. Now, Bell's given us something, but guys that we thought were going to be relied upon, all of a sudden, it's slim pickings. Speaking of slim, Durant started to go to work here to keep us within contact to end the first couple of ISOs. Butler, very adept at drawing fouls. He got away with some offensive fouls, frankly. And then what's going on here behind the telecast crew? Is that a father and son grouping, or is that a couple, or I don't know. Y'all answer for me. I just thought that was interesting there behind the crew. Damian Lee, word is he's getting that roster spot off the two-way contract. Rattles in a big three to end the first. Second quarter, it's boogie time. You see Steph in there, though. He had early foul trouble, and then the rotations were changed anyway because of no Klay Thompson. Watch Steph start to cut to the strong side here, and then he realizes, let me use my gravity and pull these guys out here for DeMarcus. If he can operate in space, he is unguardable one-on-one that deep in the paint, right? But when he's out there with no shooters, that's when it really gets ugly for him. Draymond out in transition, patience, just let the flashy plays come to you. That's a perfect example of it. Don't force it, it'll happen. Now, the problem with Boogie versus these stretches is the math problem. You saw Bolden and Scott here, you're going to see soon, start to catch fire, and DeMarcus was pretty much responsible for giving up 9 threes between those two. Simmons hops the passing lanes, and that's where he's special, out in transition. But, Boogie can score in the paint, but they're matching him with 3 balls on the other end, and so Philadelphia had the lead for the majority of this first half. Steph to the cup and then takes a scary spill into the goalpost, tweaks the neck, but here's the scary part is watch him checking his left arm as if it's numb. That's what kind of freaked me out. You see how he's trying to shake that out, but he was fine moving forward. Now let's take a look at Damian Lee and his defense, because that's where I'm concerned. We know he can shoot, but watch him chase Redick around. He does a good job fighting through, and then you're going to see him switch twice here seamlessly. Where he is going to lack is he gets caught in the air. Okay, tough enough. That was a good effort possession, right? He just lacks physical attributes. But he seems to be smart, and he seems to understand. There he is. He just doesn't have any size or length or verticality, right? But he seems to understand our defensive system, so he's not going to have like a ton of brain farts, which is important. There's Sean and Bell, and Sean very upset that Bell didn't switch. But it's one of those things where if the screen is a slip, do you switch? And that's how teams take advantage of the switching. Livingston, coast to coast and one. He needs to wake up, man. Show us that you still want to be in the NBA, Sean. And he's still talking to Bell, but that's important. Talk to him, communicate. Don't just shake your head. Work it out within the game. Draymond pushing Bell to the cup, and he gets ripped down by Scott. And I've said it before, Bell wants all the smoke. Watch him. He's like, oh, word, you talking? Okay. Look at him talking while he's backing up, though. Double T's were assessed, but, at this point in the season, we need this extra juice, this energy that Bell's bringing to the table. So I'm pleasantly surprised how much he's been able to contribute the last 2 weeks. Simmons and Draymond, again, just finding a way to have an impact, takes the charge. Now watch KD's effort here. And I'm not saying that Simmons wouldn't get this because of the position, but you're going to see a second angle of where Durant, he's just lazy, and he's never been a great boxer out or a rebounder, but take a look at this angle of it. Watch him just stop and watch the play unfold. And this is where Simmons really gets his numbers and his buckets. But, all this super team talk with the Sixers, if this man's not healthy, you can throw that all out the window. They said he's going to return soon. But the knee that's sore has already been surgically repaired, so you've got to be worried if you're a Sixers fan. Second half, Damian Lee starts in McKinney's place, and right away it pays dividends. The corner three, I love how quick he gets it off. He gets it off quick. He's got enough size to get it off. And then DeMarcus, one thing I noticed, he only hit 1 3. It looks a lot more fluid. He looks a lot more confident pulling the trigger on that 3. Steph gets one, and just like that, we explode to open up the second half, and we're right back in the game. Brent Brown, call a timeout. KD out in transition, Hezzy finishing right hand on the left side. But then this happens. You see, we're still down. We're fighting back in this, and Steph, Redick gets him in the air. Redick gets poked in the eye. He was very agitated, but more importantly, Steph has to go to the bench with, I think it was his third. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. It was his third. No, 4th foul in the third quarter here. So he sits with 4 for the remainder of the third. And it was like, oh, man, just as we had caught momentum, Steph has to sit. Look at the hands from the boogeyman. And he went to the team and said, let me switch. Because he was getting killed with all those threes, you see another clanked, contested 3 from Durant. He's just got to have better shot selection from behind the arc. But Boogie asked to switch on these, but here's where he was really getting roasted. He's just not accustomed in transition to stopping that far out on the floor. So in transition, he was getting smoked. Look at Damian Lee, hands and then hitting the floor. That's the effort we need from him to play and to stay in the league, frankly. And then, again, look how quickly, you see how he caught that on the move? That was Steph-like. Like, I know, I'm not getting carried away here, but you saw how he moved and turned and popped in the corner? The fact that he can shoot the 3 so quickly off the move allows him much more opportunity. And you saw Mike Scott just went nuts. Remember, he came over in the Tobias Harris trade, kind of just a throw-in deal. Now, Kerr gets a T here. He didn't have a whole lot to complain about. I think this was more about just making sure our intensity stayed high. So he gets a T, but Mike Scott was absolutely going off playing the stretch role for his new team. Bad fall for Durant here. Scary fall, and you could see he was upset because he knew how dangerous of a fall it was. If you take on the second look, the shoe, those KD11s roll over on him on his plant, and then on the come down, his knees almost cross, and it was all bad. Right there, you see him roll the ankle, and then that right knee, ooh, but he's so dexterous. Dexterous, is that a word? Y'all know what I'm saying. He's stretchy, and thank God for that. So he was fine. Lee, same corner, same results. How about 4 threes for Damian Lee? And when's the last time he played meaningful minutes? So stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Quinn Cook hits a 3. And this third quarter was big for us, and it was the role players contributing off the bench and giving us some offense. Durant, he was fine, man. He's tough. We got to give him credit for his toughness and durability. All of this done while Steph is on the bench with 4 fouls. Now Durant. And you forget Iguodala, he spent the prime of his career as a Sixer, so it's always a little special for him to play in this arena. Quiet night, but he hit the big shot when you needed it. Fourth quarter boogie, seal, finish. Steph to start the fourth. Again, the rotations, all sorts of different for this one. And then Butler draws another cheap one. More reason to hate this busta-ass Butler. No, I ain't even gonna go in, but look, but didn't I just bring this up in the last game? If how they officiate that leg kick call, how it's gonna be crucial in these playoffs, because you're gonna see it. It's a subjective play, and you're gonna see it being called both ways throughout these playoffs. Jonah Bolden again hitting a 3-ball. He had 3 of his own against DeMarcus, but he was making him pay on the other end. Again, it's just 3 versus 2, and so that starts to add up over time. And then Mike Scott at this point, he was just heat checking him. Everybody criticized Philadelphia for not getting Beverly in the deal, but maybe they wanted Scott, and it was a pick either or. Steph started to get going. I liked his body language in this fourth quarter. Had more energy than we've seen in the last few games. Here he is, transition. Look at the hands of the big man. Snatching that down. Obviously, there was a big give and take with him, but he still had 25 and 8, and he had a lot of momentum swinging plays. Here he is on Harris, moving his feet, and helps with the turnover. Iguodala pushing, and he's going to go to the line. That's what I love most about Iguodala's season is he just seems no longer afraid to draw contact and go to the free throw line. Now he's just got to make them. Inbounds play, very reminiscent of that Lakers-Bucks inbounds play. Just what are you doing there? Draymond, eyes always on the ball, and then Durant is going to get himself to the line. More Mike Scott, more Boogie, just not accustomed to getting out there and challenging. He's late. Now, I think he's capable of guarding out there. We've seen how nimble he can be. It's just a bad habit that he's had for so long. It's going to be hard to break. The double team, and he just ain't taking no for an answer. Hooks the body and then scoops the shot. I know this has kind of become the Mike Scott highlight reel, but I mean, it was a big story on the game. Now he's showing the step back 3. So, there was a big liability of Boogie on the perimeter, but some of it was, dude was just dumb hot. He was just hitting everything he put up. Down the stretch, though, it was Draymond and it was Iguodala just with play after play on the defensive end. Staying aware, as always, and creating opportunities off of turnovers. But here was interesting. You see, under 5 minutes to go, and Bell comes in for Draymond for a short rest. Bell gaining more and more trust with Steve Kerr playing in crucial minutes, and he comes right in and rewards him, tells Mike Scott, oh yeah, you talking that shit? Get the fuck out. Out of a timeout, they go to head knock with Steph, and I feel like Kerr, he doesn't want to overuse plays. Like with head knock in particular, use it and abuse it until they can stop it, but it's almost like he doesn't want teams to get comfortable seeing it too often. Ben Simmons bodying, and look at the big boy rebound from Draymond. He had several huge securing rebounds, and then it's Steph taking his time, seeing the floor run off the three-point line. That's fine, we'll take it. The lead with under 2 minutes to go. And then this is just what we haven't seen from Steph of late. Look at him draw the foul here. He was just more aggressive, and he just had a little pep in his step in this. Maybe it was the crowd and, the opponent, but he draws the foul, and you know what he's going to do at the line. Look at Draymond picking up Ben Simmons 94 feet. You can't let him get a head full of steam, just making him break their timing of their sets, right? Now he switches on to Redick, and then it's Iguodala cleaning up with the help, with the huge challenge, and Draymond securing the rebound. Again, can't overstate those two's impact late in this game. Iguodala offensive rebound, and that's just when you hear about people talk about a lack of familiarity. those are the type of plays that you see happen. If Lee and Ig play more, that type of thing won't happen. But you saw Steph remaining aggressive with the three, and now he just rocks Redick all the way to sleep, and then inside hand finished on the left side. Timeout, Brent Brown. Inbounds play. Watch Durant here. You gotta start paying attention. You can't start to play as the whistle blows. You have to be aware before the play takes place. Again, stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready. But then Philadelphia, with no reason to, fouls Durant with 35 seconds left, and Brent Brown's about to have a hernia on the sidelines. So after the 2 free throws, it's really a philosophy, a strategy thing here. And our strategy here was to yield the 2. We're not going to give up the 3, so this was by design. Let Simmons go all the way, get the 2 points. And then here on the inbounds, they wanted Steph a travel called. It wasn't called. Watch him kind of machine gun stutter the feet before he gets to his pivot. But Kerr took a little long to call that timeout. Like, Steph was in trouble. Kerr needs to call that timeout sooner. So it's side out of bounds Warriors ball. And risky passes here. KD in the clear. Nope. McConnell, effort player, gets the ball off Durant. And Philly still has life here because it's their ball. Take a look. Again, philosophy, strategy. You're up 3. Do you foul a poor free throw shooter and send him to the line, ensuring they don't get a 3-up? It doesn't look like Draymond intended to foul him. Either way, Ben goes to the line. He knocks the first one down. Now he's told from the bench, hey, we're missing the second one. We're going to miss it. And so, again, it comes down to strategy and philosophy from these 2 different coaches. And so he completely misses the rim, which is, oh yeah, a violation. Warriors ball. So strategy-wise, and I've heard Bill Simmons talk about, kind of criticize Brent Brown and his coaching down the stretch. Now, here's another little underlining story that's developing. It's Kevin Durant missing clutch free throws down the stretch. How many times have we seen this season? And he misses another one. It cost us the game the other night, frankly. I mean, there was a sequence of events, but that was part of it. So, final possession, it's Tobias Harris stepping out of bounds. So a real lack of execution and a lack of strategy from the Philadelphia 76ers kind of secure the game, a game that, frankly, we needed at this point. He didn't want to have 3 in a row, and against a potential finals opponent. Steph, I don't know what to say about the celebrations, but overall, I think it was a good team effort. It was an interesting clash of styles and strategies from the coaches. You see Rich Kleiman and KD with his boys courtside. Now, shout out my guy Don on Twitter. The rumor is the Warriors are interested in, are you ready for this? Andrew Bogut, as well as the Sixers. Now, I don't know how serious of a rumor this is. Again, this is Twitter talk, but it's out there. I'd be more than welcoming for Andrew to come back. He's been playing very well in the Australian League, but from what I remember, he left kind of on shaky terms, right? And so I don't know if he would choose us over Philly. You consider Ben Simmons the Australian connection, but I just float that out there for y'all. We got Boston Tuesday and then Denver Thursday, a big week against contenders. I'm going to have both of those. I'm out, y'all.
Trying to get ready for the playoffs, so the intensity is going to be up. It's March, so every team ramps up their intensity at this point. The crowd was amazing. Philly's always great, but I'm glad we came out here and ended the road trip off nice.
Without Clay, what do you guys learn with a win like this when he's out? Only the second game he missed this year.
That we need him.
When you think of what Steph was able to do here late in the fourth, you did throughout, how important was that performance?
I think those fouls kind of took his rhythm away, but he settled in after a few misses earlier in the fourth and took over the game for us late in the game. We needed that from him, and he was great for us. So, it was a good way to finish.
6 weeks to go until the playoffs. It seems like such a long slog at times. Where do you think your team is at right now coming off this road trip?
I don't know. I'm glad we're healthy. We want to just keep plugging away. We'll see what happens once we get there, but we just want to keep getting better.
Appreciate it, KD. Yep.
I've been winning so long, it's like alchemy.